Okay, students, we're going to talk about solving systems of equations again, this time with word problems. You've done it already or watched a video and done it with just the equations themselves. Now you have to come up with the equations first and then solve it. I'm going to point out key pieces that you look for. You need to memorize these key pieces. Dr. Potter provides a vaccination against polio and measles. Those are our two groups. Each polio vaccination consists of 4 doses, and each measles vaccination consists of 2 doses. Last year, Dr. Potter gave a total of 60 vaccinations that consisted of a total of 184 doses. Okay, so one equation deals with doses. You see the doses here. 4 doses per polio shot, so we'll say 4P for polio, and 2 doses for measles, M. And the total number of doses was 184. Okay, so notice all the doses are together in one equation. Now it says gave a total of 60 vaccinations. So polio vaccinations plus measles vaccinations equals a total of 60. Okay, so there's our 2 equations. You usually want to use a letter associated with one of the key pieces so you can remember which is dealing with which. Some teachers will have you write down P equals polio and M equals measles, so you don't forget. Okay. All right, so now we need to solve it. So notice I cannot just add straight up and down or subtract straight up and down and eliminate one of them. So I need to multiply one of the rows by a number. I can multiply the bottom row by -4 and add it to the 4P and wipe out the P's, or I can multiply the bottom row by -2. And that will give me the -2M plus the 2M up in the first equation to give me 0. So I'm going to choose to do that. It does not matter, and that wipes out the M's. So now I have 4P minus 2P, because remember I'm distributing, that gives me 2P. The M's cancel out, 2M minus 2M, and then I have 184, and don't forget to distribute this. That's -120, so 180 minus 120 is 64. And last step, divide by 2, and you get P equals 32. So polio is 32 shots, 32 polio shots. And remember, there's a total of 60 shots. So 60 minus 32 gives you 28 for measles. And there you go. All right, number 2. Bobik bought 3 liters of milk. So we'll say 3M for milk and 5 loaves of bread, 5B for bread, for a total of $11. A month later, he bought 4 liters of milk and 4 loaves of bread for $10 with the same prices. That's the key. The same prices, so they can actually find out the actual price. Well, so now we have our 2 equations in standard form. Remember, standard form is AX plus BY equals C, with A, B, and C being integers and A greater than 0. Your conditions. Okay, so again, we want to eliminate either the M's or the B's. Well, in this case, I can't just multiply one row by another unless I want to get with decimals or fractions, and we don't care to deal with that. So we're going to find the least common multiple of 3 and 4. That would be 12, or least common multiple of 5 and 4, 20. So you multiply both rows to get up to a 20, 1 to -20, or 1 to 12 and 1 to -12. Well, let's go to the 12s. Okay, so top row, if I want to make that 12, I'll make that 4 out front and multiply everything by all 3 terms. And I need this to be -12, so I can just add the 2 rows. And so I'm going to multiply that row by -3. So I get 12M minus 12M is 0, wipes out the M's. Then I have 20B minus 12B is 8B. And then I have 44 minus 30 is 14. Make sure you distribute all the way through. Last step, divided by 8, and then I have to change this to a decimal. 1 6/8 is 3/4, which is 0.75. So bread is $1.75. A liter of milk, we just did the bread, 175. Okay, now I want you to pay attention here. I could go ahead and substitute that 175 back in for the B, get my decimal, subtract across, and divide and all that. But what I like to do when it's not very difficult like this is I just like to now go ahead. Notice I eliminated the M's that time, solve for B. I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate the B's this time and solve for M. That way I'm not dealing with any fractions or decimals at all. I'm just until like the very last step, the 14/8. Okay, so now let's do the same thing. We'll change the color. We're going to wipe out the B's. So 20M, I multiply that by 4. I need this to be negative 20. So I'm multiplying this by negative 5. So now I have 20B and negative 20B. Wipes that out. I have 12M minus 20M is negative 8M. And I have 44 minus 50 is negative 6. When I distribute to the constants on the other side. And last step, divide by negative 8. And negative by negative is positive, and I get 6/8 or 3/4, and 3/4 is 0.75, so 75 cents. Okay, some like to put the 0.75. Okay. Next one. So that might be a new method. You didn't know you could do elimination method twice to solve for each variable. You don't have to just do it once and then plug it in. You could do it. And so I just did that again because it was 1.75. If it was a 2, B was 2. That's easy to plug in and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't do it then. But when it counted decimal, that's why I did it. Okay, a stone fell from the top of the cliff of a mountain in the air at an average speed of 16 meters per second. Okay. And we'll say T for time. In the water, it had 3 meters per second. The total distance from the top of the cliff to the seabed is 127 meters, and the stone's entire fall took 12 seconds. How long did the stone fall in the air? So we know that if it was X seconds, the total amount of time was 12 seconds, right? So one is X, and the other has to be 12 minus X. That adds to 12 seconds. Okay, one in time is X seconds, the other is 12 minus that answer. So they will add to 12. So if we just go ahead and put the X 16, so we have 16X plus 3 times 12 minus X, okay, for a total distance of 127 meters. Okay. So now we go ahead and distribute and then combine like terms afterwards. 16X plus 36 minus 3X equals 127. That gives me 13X equals 91. Divided by 13 on both sides. And you get 7. So X is 7 seconds. Remember, X we put with the air one. The stone fell in the air for 7 seconds and fell in the water for 12 minus that 7 is 5 seconds for a total of 12 seconds. Okay, and you could plug those numbers back in to the X, okay, into here and to here, and you would get that answer of 127 total distance traveled. Okay, remember I just subtracted that across. Okay, I combine like terms here to get that. Okay, so 127 minus 36 gives you that 91. All right, in order to move a term across the opposite sign, you do the opposite operation. The opposite of plus 36 is minus 36. All right, last one. The combined average weight of Okapi and Llama is 450. So O plus L equals 450. The average weight of 3 llama is is 190 more than the average of Okapi. So if we say Okapi equals X, then the llama equals X plus 190. Okay, so now I can go ahead and just substitute those in there. So I have X plus 190 equals 450. So now I have 2x. I subtract the 190 across. That gives me 250. Okay. 60. 260. 260. Okay. And last step, divide by 2. So 260 divided by 2 is 130. So, and 130 represents the x. So the Okapi is 130 pounds on average, and the llama weighs an average 190 more than that, which would be 320. And 320 plus the 130 add to 450. Okay. So there you have 4 examples of solving specific equation with word problems. And you obviously have this to keep. You can rewatch it to learn from it, etc. 12 minute.